Hello and welcome to Pocati TV. I'm your host, editor Jonty Mark. Today we're going to discuss the action from the English Premier League over the weekend. But first, before all that, just a quick one on Real Madrid in La Liga announcing that Zinedine Zidane is their new head coach. Of course, Zidane coached them to successive Champions League titles and then left the club this season, but is back after a disastrous campaign for the Madrid side, and he's back in charge, which may have had Jose Mourinho coughing into his cornflakes, because I think that he was one of the favourites for the job once it became clear that Mr. Solari was no longer going to be coach. However, Zidane is back, and it seems like he's been given an open checkbook, so you can expect Real Madrid to go dipping very heavily into the transfer market. I expect them to go after Chelsea's Eden Hazard, for example, perhaps Tottenham's Christian Eriksen as well, and a number of other players too. That squad needs a massive overhaul. They were just knocked out of the Champions League quite embarrassingly by Ajax Amsterdam. So Zidane is back, and that will certainly warm the hearts of Real Madrid fans. Moving to the English Premier League, over the weekend we had the title race basically as you were after this weekend's games. City beating Watford with a hat-trick from Raheem Sterling. It was a tight first half that finished 0-0. But in the second half, City came to the party. Sterling was in fantastic form. City's first goal was a bit dodgy, one might say. First offside was given, and then offside was not given, and then the goal was given instead. Slightly contentious issue. No one quite seems to understand that part of the offside rule 100%, but the ball did deflect off a Watford player into Sterling's path, and that seemed to make him onside in the eyes of the match officials. Certainly a cause of complaint for the Watford coach. However, City then went on and thrashed Watford, so there couldn't be too much. Liverpool, a bit of a shaky start against Burnley when a corner went straight into the net. Alisson moaning that he was fouled. But Liverpool bounced back with a goal from Sadio Mane, and they in the end ran out fairly comfortable winners, although Burnley made it quite tight. Moving to the race for the top four, Tottenham surprisingly lost at Southampton this weekend. They were beaten 2-1 despite leading 1-0 into the final 10 minutes. Southampton grabbed two quick goals, including the winner, a brilliant free kick from James Ward-Prowse, his second fantastic free kick in a row, after also scoring a quite brilliant free kick in the narrow defeat to Manchester United. Southampton have certainly improved, and I expect them to manage to avoid relegation, but Tottenham really would have expected to win this game, especially after the high of winning in Dortmund and going through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. But their league form has to be a concern with Arsenal closing down on them, Man United, even Chelsea closing down. Moving to Chelsea, they had a very disappointing, I think, 1-1 draw with Wolves, although they'll be happy with the point given that Eden Hazard scored the equaliser in the 92nd minute or so. But they played, it was another typical Chelsea performance under Sarri, really. Pass, and nothing much else. And some more passing, and then nothing much else. So they pass the ball around nicely, they create a lot of chances, which has to be put in inverted commas, because they didn't really test the Wolves goalkeeper, Rui Patricio. Wolves have been very good this season, and they're a comfortable 7th in the table, just outside that top 6, but they really have been excellent for a newly promoted club. Their coach has done brilliantly. They were really well organised, and I think Sarri was a bit disingenuous after the game when he suggested that they weren't well organised, and they just sat back and defended. I don't know what he expected them to do with coming to Stamford Bridge, and they've taken 4 points off Chelsea. Manchester United Arsenal was the big game of the weekend. Arsenal winning 2-0, although it wasn't 100% a reflection of the game. Manchester United certainly had their opportunities. I think either side of Granit Xhaka's, I cannot pronounce Granit Xhaka. I cannot pronounce that surname. It's Swiss Albanian, and I apologise. But either side of his goal that caught David De Gea by surprise, a long shot that De Gea sort of didn't pick up or something, I don't know, and it flew in. United did hit the woodwork twice. Then Arsenal were awarded a slightly dodgy penalty in the second half. It was maybe a penalty, maybe it wasn't. Lacazette went down rather easily. And Aubameyang made up for his miss the previous week, where he had a chance to win the game. against Tottenham, as he slid the penalty past again from 2-0 up. Arsenal held on fairly comfortably. A first league defeat for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as United coach. It was going to come eventually. I don't think they should be too downhearted. They're still playing much better than they did under Mourinho, which was a disaster. Please remember to like, subscribe, and do all those social media things for us. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and like this show. Thank you.